Good evening, darlings, boys and girls, people of the quarantine. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the live stream. Goldie Goldsteen here in the epicenter, Queens, New York. For those of you who don't know, I am Queen of Queens and Queen of the Quarantine, somewhat by default, though no fault of my own. As the story goes and as legend has it, I was on my way to Broadway, of course, with the Goldie Goldsteen show, tentatively titled The End of Men. Goldie Goldsteen, and or the other working title was Good News for the Jews. You know what I'm saying. But we wound up in Queens, which is totally lovely and wonderful, no complaints. And next thing you know, here we are in the quarantine. So I want to wish everybody a happy Saturday evening. Given everything, I want to invite you to just settle in, settle down, join. People are coming and going in this live stream situation. You know what I'm saying? And we're here tonight. We're going to do a little bit of business called "What Goes Around Comes Around." So we just ended Passover yesterday. I hope everybody was passed over and your houses are safe and sound. And we are running low on the essentials now after going through that long ordeal of Passover. We're running low on the pickle juice, one of the very essentials. But supplies are supposedly coming. I hope everybody had a beautiful and delightful Passover. We had a very nice Seder for one here. And I got into a lot of arguments, as you have to get into arguments at Passover at the table about who says what and who goes first and who goes second and all that. So in order to recreate it, I just released all my internal dialogue during the Seder. And it was quite a scene. Oh, well, thank you, darling. Good evening, darling. The chat is working, which is a miracle. You know, you never know with these things. The chat hasn't been working the last week or two. And it's working tonight. We're good, darlings. So we're moving from Passover into Earth Day coming up this week, darlings. So that is why I wanted to acknowledge Earth Day, celebrate it. I think it's a very auspicious time, a little suspicious, but very auspicious, a time to celebrate Earth Day. Moving out of Passover, you know, we are still dealing with Passover. See, we celebrate Passover in 8 days, but of course, the commemoration is an abridged version, if you know what I'm saying. It took a lot longer than that, of course, for the plagues to work their way through. And so we're still going through it here. I've got my special Earth Day cup and recycled straw for those of you who are concerned. It is a recycled plastic straw. And Earth Day is coming up. We're moving from Passover into Earth Day. And that's why the theme is what goes around comes around. It's about karma. It's about ecology. And it's just about a catchy title, quite frankly. Of course, that's why the bird has landed. It was supposed to be, in the original script, it was the eagle has landed. But of course, all the technicians, all the prop people left town or are in quarantine. So it's like if you've gone online lately and ordered groceries, you know, you order your favorite chocolate, and they show up with some granola or something because they're out of chocolate. Same thing happened here. So it was supposed to be the eagle has landed, but the bird has landed. It's to symbolize my bird brain, quite frankly, if nothing else. Symbolize my bird brain. And, you know, symbolize the Earth's creatures. The birds are still flying out there. I see them outside the window. I hear them all night long. They're pretty active here in Queens. I don't know about where you live, but the birds don't sleep here in Queens, okay? They're very busy at night. And it just so happens they're outside my windowsill. So that's the theme for tonight. What goes around comes around. Before we get to that theme, I just want to sing you a little opening song. I'm going to sing a couple of songs. We're going to do a little Earth Day meditation, and then, that's it. We're doing, it's an Earth Day primer. I like to call this an Earth Day primer. And because we seem to need a reminder that the Earth is not meant to be plundered. If you plunder, there are consequences. If you plunder the natural world and you plunder all the wildlife and drag them into the cities and keep them in cages in a wet market, the whole sound of a wet market, it sounds very unappetizing to me. I'll be honest with you. I like my markets dry. I like my martinis. A wet market, it just sounds unsanitary. And indeed it is. And that's very likely where the virus originated, this terrible virus that's going around. So we're going to sing a little spiritual opening song, a brief opening song. This is one of our standard, ancient, translated spiritual texts about inviting and invoking our own spirituality. So this is how it goes. Cowbells ring. Are you listening? In the soul, love is glistening. A beautiful insight. We're happy tonight. We're meditating in a spiritual wonderland. We'll burn away all the karma. Then we'll play with the dharma. We do what we can to live with God's plan, meditating in a spiritual wonderland. And in the meadow, we can build an ashram and pretend that it is just a spa. Charge a lot of money that way. We'll say, can you feel it? They'll say, no, man. But when the Kundalini rises, they'll say, ah. Ooh. Now, of course, while we're doing this, you can be breathing in, circulating your Kundalinis, if you know what that is. And then later on, we will do yoga, lightly clad in a toga, to face unafraid the naked bodies God made, meditating in a spiritual wonderland. I say we'll face unafraid, like at the mikvah, the naked bodies God made, meditating in a spiritual wonderland. It's a spiritual wonderland I'm inviting us all into, darlings. With everything that's happening outside, hopefully you're all safe and sound. But I want to invite you to take in a nice deep breath wherever you are. Make your tuchus comfortable. Settle in wherever you happen to be sitting. Or maybe you're still reclining from Passover. Or you're on a nice recliner. Taking a nice deep breath. And then just sigh it out. You have to remember to breathe during this time. It's a very important part of wellness is breath, and especially, God forbid, you should catch anything undesirable. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about your love life. That's happened plenty to me. I caught something undesirable. But thank God I'm here by myself right now. So taking a nice deep breath and sigh it out. Just let the tension run off your fingers. And I'd like to invite us all to do a little Earth Day meditation in honor of Earth Day. And all I want to invite you to do is imagine that the Earth is floating right in your own living room. Let's say it's floating from the ceiling like a beautiful disco ball, and it's twinkling up there. So imagine that you are watching the Earth just rotating in your living room, and just see it sparkling with some nice pink light. And just imagine that light is circulating. The Earth is rotating at a gentle Donna Summers pace. You know what I'm saying? Summertime, things tend to slow down. and go a little easier. So we want a kind of a Donna-Summer rotation of the Earth. And then imagine a nice pink light just floating around the Earth, sparkling. You might hear Staying Alive wafting in the distance over the loudspeakers. If you know the song, just imagine yourself singing Staying Alive, Staying Alive, and circulate some beautiful energy on the Earth. The Earth is a disco ball in some sense of the word. And you can circulate a nice, beautiful energy around it. If you have family and friends elsewhere, it's a good meditation to do in all seriousness on your own time. Just picture the Earth and picture wherever people are that you want to send beautiful energy to, and imagine circulating of nice healing light, loving light, healing light. The other thing we want to do is as we're breathing in and breathing out, I'm sure a lot of you do your own meditations, but one of the things we can do is breathe in whatever's in the atmosphere around us, and then imagine breathing out a nice cleansing energy, nice cleansing, beautiful energy. We had quite a nice storm or two since the last time we spoke, last weekend. Beautiful rainstorm. It was quite torrential, but it really cleared the air and cleared out the situation. And that's a good thing for us to do, darlings, clearing it all out. I also want to say that it's a good time for planting seeds while we're in quarantine. You might want to think about planting some seeds for food, if you have any food and you have a garden, but otherwise planting your own seeds. What is it that you want to see emerge from this period of cocooning, period of quarantine? And certainly we want to plant some seeds for a more peaceful world, a more healthy world. So a little bit of seed planting goes a long way, darlings. There's a song, if you haven't heard it, called Plant a Radish, Get a Radish. It's one of my favorite songs. I'm going to find it right here for you. I've been thinking about which songs speak to the moment of time that we're in. You know, they say while I'm looking for that, one of the things you hear is the Earth is our mother. So I want to give a shout out to my mother and to my Mother Earth, of course. But I want to give a shout out to my mother and to my sisters and all the beautiful women in the world and in my life. I like to think of the Earth more as my mother-in-law, in the sense that if you don't treat her right, she's going to let you know about it. You know what I'm saying? The Earth is our mother-in-law, actually. So it's a reason why we have to behave. And we have not been behaving, collectively speaking. In Judaism, we like to speak collectively. That way we don't have to take too much responsibility, you know, individually. It helps alleviate some pressure. We take responsibility collectively, though, and we haven't been so well behaved. And that's why we're in a pandemical situation right now, because our mother-in-law does not approve, I don't believe, of the lifestyle that we've been leading, the amount of pollution that we have been spewing forth, the amount of animals. We're in a mass extinction right now. Let me tell you something. I learned this in an off-Broadway musical, beautiful off-Broadway musical, that extinction stinks, okay? It's a dead-end street. You really don't want to go there. So our mother-in-law, the Earth, is not happy about it, and that is a good reason why these viruses are springing up, according to all the experts. I'm not just blowing smoke out of my rear end. You know what I'm saying? Not at the moment, anyway. That comes later. But we have to treat our mother-in-law very nicely and very well, and our mother too. You know, because they can certainly make your life easier or harder, depending on how you treat them. So we're planting seeds for the health and well-being of our loved ones, our family, our friends. enough of for ourselves. For some people, that is, they haven't been growing enough activity. You know, they haven't been growing enough of doing and creating the things they want to do. And yet for other people, they have been running and doing and going without stop. So this is a good time for those people to mellow out and take the time to rest. And I know some of my dear friends are taking that opportunity right now. It's a good time to rest. In the spiritual world, it's a very good time always to be restful, to try and let yourself settle down a little bit, calm down, take it easy. Don't get your bowels in an uproar. You know what I'm saying. So that's why it's a good time for us to plant seeds of fabulosity, health and well-being, and respect for all life, darlings. I don't know if any of you have been watching the Tiger Queen. I call it the Tiger Queen. You know what I'm saying. But there are a lot of lessons to be learned there, you know. Mistreatment of wild animals is never a good idea. It may make for good TV in the short term, all right? It's certainly doing, how do you say, it's getting a wide audience. It's getting a lot of viewing. But so are a lot of other things going on right now that are not desirable, shall we say. They're undesirable things. So, but I did watch some of the Tiger Queen, and you know, I think it's a good lesson. It's not just entertainment. It's a good lesson for us all. Let's see. How about we sing another song, because the songs are going well. Oh, I want to just mention the frogs. I don't know if you were watching last week. We did talk about the plague of frogs, and there was a lot of activity. I got a lot of feedback about the frogs afterwards. So I just wanted to acknowledge the frogs. The frogs are in the house, and if you haven't seen them, these are the Passover frogs. They've been very busy. Let's just say they've been very busy behind the scenes. These two frogs. Well, I'm not going to go into it, but let me just say there's a lot of croaking going on between the birds and the frogs. It's been hard to sleep around here. And what else do we have here, darlings? We've got some lemon essential oils. It's a very good time for essential oils. Normally, lemon oil is very good for breathing. It's very good to put a little bit in a diffuser. You know, I like to diffuse the situation whenever possible. But I must say right now it's pretty pungent in here. Speaking of Earth Day, it's very earthy. I'm sure that's true in a lot of places and a lot of situations right now. People who haven't gone outside for a number of weeks, not everybody, how shall we say, is taking the opportunity to luxuriate in the bathtub, if you know what I'm saying. So things are getting a little pungent, and that's where the lemon oil comes into play, darlings. And then we have a little toasted cup for a peppermint schnapps. That helps keeps the monotony away, darlings. So let's find you another song here. Which one shall we sing? Remember, spiritually speaking, darlings, I am the resurrection and the life of the party. So that speaks to the fact that we will rise again. We will rise again through this ordeal, and we will see each other in person again, if we can stand it. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, we want to stay home, we want to stay safe, and we want to stay fabulous. Very important, a lot of Mishigas. I don't think I need to talk about the Mishigas, but I want to send my love at the moment. Speaking of Mishigas, I got a little message just now from my beautiful friends and families down in Florida. I don't know what happened to Florida since I lived there years ago, darling, but I want to send a lot of love down there. They're opening up the beaches again in Florida because, of course, why not? I'm a little speechless about that, darlings. What goes around comes around. I wrote a little ditty about what goes around comes around this week, and it's kind of an Earth Day blues. So, I'm singing here a cappella. You got to go with the program. I don't have any Zoom meisters in the house here, so I'm just gonna, just let it all hang out for you a cappella. This is really kind of conversational with a little bit of performance values thrown in. So, what goes around comes around. Let me tell you, I've been around. What goes around comes around, and let me tell you, I've been around. It seems so long since we got started. I sing this song, I ain't broken hearted, but Lord have mercy on filet of soul. I've been around, oh yeah. What goes around comes around. Let me tell you, I've been around. What goes around comes around, and let me tell you, I've been around. I sing the blues, I keep them rolling. You win, you lose, the bell keeps tolling, but what goes around comes around, and here we are, oh yeah. Why don't we fool around? Why don't? Ba-do-boo bop, ba-do bop, ba-do boo bow. Ba-do 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 bop bow. You know what I'm saying? Bop bop ba-do do ba da boo do da bow. Ba-do dow. Well, how much longer will this show last? I'm feeling stronger as the days go past, but I miss my people and I miss my friends. I know this ain't where our story ends, so I watch my figure and I eat good food. I think about you when I'm in the mood, and I learned long ago when you can't go talking, you gotta let your fingers do the walking. Oh, if you've been dragging your heels now, missing your baths or skipping meals, well, shake your sugar and move. Yeah, we want to get you back in the groove, because what goes around comes around. And let me tell you, I've been around. What goes around comes around, and let me tell you, I've been around. It ain't so long since we got started, so sing your song and don't be broken-hearted. 'Cause Lord have mercy on filet of soul. I've been around, yeah. Say it with me. I've been around, oh yeah. Come on, I've been around, oh yeah. Say I've been around, all right. Yeah, I've been around, okay. And what goes around comes around. Let me tell you one more time, I've been around. What goes around comes around, and let me tell you, I've been around, so I'll see you soon. You gotta know it. Put in that spoon, lift it up and show it, 'cause we gotta eat what's good now, baby, 'cause what goes around, yeah, it's gonna come around again. You know what I'm saying? What goes around, oh yeah, it's gonna come around. That's it. What goes around comes around, darlings. That's the blues. I slipped into a little blues mode. That's my Earth Day Blues song for you here on WYOY. Earth Day Radio, or should we call it Quarantine Radio. Goldie Goldsteen, Queen of the Quarantines, here with you. And yeah, don't hold nothing back, girl. That's right. I don't even have a girdle on. Listen, I'll be honest with you. It's a good thing that you're only seeing this portion of the torso, because everything is really, just like the earth, kind of bulges around the middle, darlings. You know what I'm saying? The equator isn't quite equal to what it was, a month ago. That's okay, darlings. They said, stay home and feed the spread. Isn't that what they said? Stay home and feed the spread. That's what or fatten the curve, I think it was. Yeah, we're fattening the curve, darlings. But it's not to worry. Not to worry, darlings. Yes, love to all the beings, baby. Love to all the beings here on WYOY, Goldie Goldsteen. Here, talking to you through the night. All night long, honey. That's what they used to call me back in the sisterhood. Goldie all night long, honey. When they say back in the hood, of course, in my case, we're talking about the sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a shout out to all the girls back in the sisterhood. They were quite a bunch of gals, you know, a lot of hairspray and a lot of polyester. But God bless them, darling. They knew how to move it and shake it. You know what I'm talking about. They knew how to move it and shake it. Of course, Goldie Goldsteen was, of course, president of the sisterhood at one time. And then there was the inimitable Mildred Falk, was one of the heroes of the sisterhood, or should we say the heroines of the sisterhood. She was a heroine of mine, you might say, not in an addictive sense, but perhaps in a predictive sense. A beautiful, beautiful sister of blessed memory. Yeah, the sisterhood is quite an organization. I want to send a shout out not only to all the beings. We got an idea. I see you out there. Shout out to all the beings, but to all the sisterhoods all over the world, darlings. Some of you have heard from Goldie Goldsteen before. Like I said, my Broadway-bound cabaret extravaganza was called The End of Men, darlings. And it was a somewhat of a Judeo-feminist feast of witticisms and a few criticisms, darlings, of the system that we have up to this time, because in Goldie Goldstein's view, men are responsible for, in one way or another, almost all the mishigas going on today, when you boil it down in a simple way. So I think more sisterhoods need to step up and take command of the situation. So we're doing a lot of work on that front, and we're doing a little bit of work on the behind. You know what I'm saying? Again, you can't see what's going on down there, but there's a lot of squeezing. A lot of squeezing goes on to keep this stuff pumping out. You know, it's almost like squeezing the tube. You gotta squeeze it from the bottom. It keeps all the sunshine coming out of the top here. You know, we're waiting for a test. We're waiting for more tests, darling. Who would have thought? Who would have thought 6 months ago that the one thing in life we'd be waiting for is more tests? Never was that way before, but now we're waiting for tests. And we're waiting for an antibody test. Speaking of antibodies, I'd like to send a shout out to my auntie. You know what I'm saying, because she's got quite a body. She's quite a looker, good-looking broad. So I want to send my love to my aunts, and particularly to my auntie down in Florida, my Auntie Ruth. She's a beautiful woman. And we love her. She's part of our sisterhood, our very special sisterhood. I think it's important to acknowledge, you know, the women, all the women in the sisterhoods. You know who you are. You know who you are. Let's send the blessings to the antibodies. You know what I'm saying? That way we'll know. We'll know who's already had this thing. And it won't just be gossip. You know, in the sisterhood, you know, when you wanted to know who had had something, you know, something was going on. Something was going around. Usually it was the rabbi. But you only had gossip to rely on, you know. Nowadays it's tests. They're scientific, medical, pharmacological, biological situations and tests. So that's what we're waiting for, darling. So I hope we get a test very soon. I'm going to remind you all, darlings, to breathe in your fabulosity. We've talked about this every week. Don't forget to breathe in your fabulosity. Bring peace. That's what we're here for. We're here to bring peace to the world and tune up the joy strings. If you haven't, I hope you've been tuning your joy strings all week. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're quarantined alone, no problem. If you're not alone, you know, you might have to wait for some privacy. But still, it's important, to tune up the joy strings. I'm looking forward. One of the things I'm planting seeds for, you've heard me mention the Broadway show several times. So I'm planting the seeds subliminally and not so subtly for the Broadway show, Goldie Goldsteen, or, you know, the Netflix series. We're also we're in talks with Netflix right now. They don't know it, but we're in talks with them. I'm doing a lot of talking over here. For the Netflix series, Goldie Goldsteen. So we're planting all those seeds. The other vision I had in this quarantine is a night of 1,000 goldies. That's another thing that I'm envisioning. When we come out of this on the other side, I'm picturing, Carnegie Hall or the Carnegie Deli, except it's not open anymore, which is a sad thing. But maybe we would revive it just for a special event. But let's just say we'll go for second best, Carnegie Hall. A night of 1,000 goldies. That's the vision. We will invite goldies from all over the nation to come and join in celebration at Carnegie Hall. Of course, with all their friends and family, all the mishpachim, and all the sisterhoods. I want you to know I love you, you sisterhoods, wherever you are. I haven't said it often enough because we've been caught up in the frantic and pedantic lifestyle that we've been living. So in this pause, while it's been forced upon us in one sense, I do want to acknowledge the sisterhoods in my life. And by that, I mean broadly, all the broads. Broadway, ergo, that's why I want to go to Broadway. It's where the broads are. You know what I'm saying? I call this a good-looking broadcast, if I may. And I hope you agree. And yes, you can call me Our Lady of Fabulosity. I will accept that moniker. And if you got a yarmulke, I'll accept that too. Listen, we got to do what we got to do, honey. Feel free to communicate with Goldie Goldsteen here and there, whenever you want. And I will answer your questions as best I can. So that's what we're doing. We're going to Broadway, night of 1,000 goldies. What else? I used to be bi-coastal. I was, before this epidemic hit, I was getting into a real bi-coastal groove. You know what I'm saying? I want to send a shout out to Los Angeles, all my friends out in Los Angeles, or Los Angeles, depending on what rhyme scheme you're going with. And blessings to everybody, anyone who's been in the hospital, anyone who's been sick at home. Blessings, healing blessings are coming your way. Feel free to send your names or names of people you want to send the healing blessings to, in all sinceriousness. I want to send, very important, peace, love, and kugel. Anybody in need. Peace, love, and kugel, darlings. From Our Lady of Fabulosity. You saw it here first. Goldie Goldsteen. Peace, love, and kugel. Very important to send your blessings. Oh yeah, I was saying I was bi-coastal, right? I was bi-coastal, darlings, and now I'm quarantined in Queens. Not a bad place to be, in the epicenter. I always tend to wind up in the epicenter of the action. I don't know why that is, but if that's where she wants me to be, by she I mean my mother, you know what I'm saying? She's upstairs. If that's where she wants me to be, that's where I am. I make the best of it. But now I'm bi-coastal. Since I can't be bi-coastal for the time being, I have morphed. I have morphed like Mark and Mindy into being bi-toastal. What does that mean? I butter my bread on both sides when I toast it. And I'm no longer, just picking one side or the other. I don't think it's sufficient. Honestly, I think we really need to butter the toast on both sides. So now I am officially bi-toastal. And you heard it here first. It's another news break. A news flash. We're having hot flashes and news flashes here pretty much at the same time here on WYOY. Let us see. Any other questions? Any other things we need to cover? I think we've covered a lot, darlings. You're breathing in the fabulosity. I'm going to sing you one more song. Unless there are any questions that you have on the chat room, feel free to ask them. What else is happening in the news that we need to mention? Gee whiz, where would we start with that? Stay home, darling. Stay home, stay safe. Be kind to yourselves. Really, if you haven't been before, now's the time to start, honey. Be kind to yourselves. Oh, where to be on Earth Day? Where on Earth? That's the question. Where on Earth to be on Earth Day? Well, I would say be here then. You know what I'm saying? Goldie Goldsteen. Maybe I'll have to come on Earth Day and just say a quick hello hello to everybody. But if you've got to be in your portal, darlings, be somewhere. I would say be somewhere on the planet. If you've been doing a lot of astral travel, I think it's a good day to come back down. There will be a broadcast, in all seriousness. There will be a broadcast of very beautiful spiritual people. What is the name of the organization here? I think it's called planetheart.org. Planet Heart, one word, putting a planet together with the heart. Planetheart.org. It's a lot of finger work tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's a good place to be. There are many lovely things, but in terms of your own personal style, be here on the earth and acknowledge that this is where you are, darlings. Acknowledge yourself for your compassionate presence, for the sacredness that is the earth. We need to recognize and realize, and some of us do, I know that, but we need to really, what's the word? Establish it, maybe enthrone it. We really need to establish this more as our way of life. Much more respect for the planet. I'm very grateful to be here now, to be alive on the planet. It's a very challenging time, and at times very distressing and very upsetting, and yet there is a rising up of love, a rising up of spirituality, a rising up of sisterhood. And if you're over here right now, there's a rising up of body odor, but we're not going to worry about that. That is what it means to be earthy. All right? We have an animal body, and we have animal smells. In some circles, I'm lauded for it. You know what I'm saying? My particular scent. Everyone has their own particular scent. So I would say, breathe it in. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate yourself and appreciate the planet. And earth and sky, do some blessings, do some ceremonies. If you got any feathers, if you have any sage. If you don't have sage, there's always butter. Okay? If you're not New Age and you don't have sage, you can use butter. Just butter both sides of the toast in honor of Earth Day. North and south, east and west, all the hemispheres. Make sure everything is tucked in if you're going to go outside. That's an issue right now. You got to have a mask on. I didn't bring my mask over here into the studio, but I've got a beautiful zebra mask that I was gifted. Go outside with your mask. Be very careful if you're going shopping. If you're going out to buy matzah, butter, pickles, be sure you have a mask and you got your gloves on. And if you keep your distance from people. And when you come out, I carry a little bottle of alcohol. Oops, that was an inadvertent bell ringing. A little bottle, a little spritzer of alcohol. I used to keep Chanel number 5 in here. Now I keep alcohol number 70%. And I just spritz it on everything. It's a good thing to do. You spritz it on your gloves if you've got your rubber gloves on when you come out of the markets. You spritz it if you're getting gas or whatever. If you have gas already, a little ginger tea. And it's a good thing to do. So I wrote this song for you, darlings. And this will be my closer. I mean, I could talk all night, of course, but we want to keep it nice and short and sweet, relatively speaking. It's going to be a long night ahead, and I'm going to be here in the studio, so if you want to contact me, feel free. But I wrote this song kind of as an earthy anthem about the planet, about what we're going through, and it's about this transition from Passover. I'm going to take a strategic sip while I'm talking about this. It's transition from Passover and Easter into Earth Day, darlings. Very, very important. It's crucial. I'm being funny here and just trying to keep it lighthearted, but do whatever you can to support the organizations, and many, many beautiful things happening online. Many global events. There's something happening tonight, I'm sure, on another channel. Something almost as beautiful as what's happening here. Or maybe, let's just say equally beautiful. No more hierarchy. Listen, I've had enough of hierarchy. That's what they used to hire me for. But right now I'm freelancing. So here's a song for you, darlings. I send you my love and my blessings. Remember to breathe in your fabulosity, plant your seeds, and drink your pickle juice. If you've heard of the beautiful writer Arundhati Roy, there's a beautiful article out right now about the pandemic is a portal. The pandemic is a portal. The original title was The Pandemic is a Portable. But, once she was quarantined, she changed the title. The pandemic is a portal. What does that mean? It means it's a doorway. This time is a doorway. It's a gateway for us to reemerge into something better. Something better, like butter is better. We want to emerge into something more loving and kind and respectful, darlings. Yes, loving and kind. I'm getting a few little messages. So we're going through the portal right now. It's been a delight to be with you tonight. I wish we were all in the same space, 6 feet apart or more. But in lieu of, I'm very delighted. Bless you. I love you sincerely. And I'm thinking of you. And here's a song. Imagine there's a dumpling. It's easy if you fry. The flour's made of matzah, just like matzah brie. Imagine all the people eating all the food. Imagine you're in Egypt. Who knew you're a Jew? Your people are in slavery 'cause of your religion, boo. Imagine now there's Moses saying, let my schnizzle go. You may say I'm a genius, and you're not the only one. But don't let that come between us, especially when it's time to run. Bum, 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 bum. Imagine your possessions. They must be left behind. How will you feed the children? How can you calm your mind? Just imagine all the pickles in the promised land. Let that linger there. Imagining all the pickles in the promised land. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I say you're dreaming too. That's why coffee has a creamer, to make this world a better brew. That's what I wish for you, darlings. A better brew. Some good creamer in your coffee. Mama Llama loves a lot of creamer in her coffee, so she knows. That's where the wisdom comes from. Comes from the Mama Llamas of the world and from the earth, who is our mother-in-law. All right, so you got to watch out. The earth does not need us, darlings. We need the earth, okay? We do not feed the earth. The earth feeds us. So let's keep the respect in order here, keep the priorities and keep the sensibilities flowing in the right direction. Let's pray for an end to this pandemical situation. Let's pray for the health and well-being of everybody. And let's pray for a more fabulous society and culture, okay? Imagine all the pickles in the promised land, darling, because that's where we're headed. We're headed to the land of milk and pickles. They made a mistake early on. They thought it was all milk and honey. Turns out there were a hell of a lot of pickles when they got there. And that's where we're heading. We got to get us back into the garden. You know what I'm saying? We want to get back into the garden where the pickles grow. Okay? Enough of the nonsense, enough of the poisoning, enough of the, the violence and the wars and all the mishigas. For crying out loud. Okay? Marie Antoinette, she said, let them eat cake because she didn't want everyone to know she was a pickle fiend. Louis knew. He knew. That's why he was in Versailles all the time. They had quite a pickle cellar in Versailles. And anyway, we're in a bit of a pickle right now, but when we come out of it, imagine the promised land with all the pickles and all the fabulosity. I love you, I thank you, and I bless you. And now go to it, honeys. Get your tookies to the promised land. Peace, love, Kugel. Love you, peace, love, and Kugel. I'll have a song about it soon.